watching a live footage from Panmunjom. This is where North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and South Korean leader Moon Jae-in will make a historic face-to-face. They're expected to meet in the coming hour. Unlike past minutes, what's significant about this meeting is that the North Korean leader will be walking across the demarcation line to the south. It'll be the first time ever since the Korean War. This is part of a major thaw in inter-Korean relations that started after Kim Jong-un's New Year address. He used the occasion to say he was prepared to send a delegation to discuss the possibility of attending the Pyeongchang Winter Games. The change in just a few months is really remarkable. From threats and missile tests to talks in the prospect of peace. And Kim Jong-un is about to arrive in Panmunjom in a short while. We are seeing a motorcade that is running the roads in Panmunjom. We are not able to confirm whether it is the North Korean leader's motorcade or the South leader's motorcade. But we have information that Kim Jong-un will be coming out very soon. This seems to be the motorcade carrying South Korean President Moon Jae-in. He's going to arrive in Panmunjom. President Moon has arrived in Panmunjom. We will see him coming out of his car very soon. Okay, Moon arrives in Panmunjom. And he's already out of the car being greeted by some of his officials. Takashi, what do you think is in Kim's mind, Moon Jae-in's mind right now?
Yes, for him it's both personally and nationally historic moment. Because as a refugee from the north, he himself has been dreaming about having inter-Korean summit. And he wanted to materialize this summit since he assumed his post almost a year ago. So for him, it's a kind of dream come true of having inter-Korean summit.
And we have just seen Moon Jae-in entering the venue of the meeting. These are live pictures coming in from Panmunjom, the venue of the inter-Korean summit. We are expecting the North Korean leader to come out soon. This is a live picture of the northern facility, northern side of Panmunjom.
Yes.
Let's go back now to our reporter Kim Chun-ju in Paju, South Korea. Chun-ju.
He is an expert in international relations and North Korea. Dr. Kim, thank you very much for joining us today. It's a historic day in South Korea and North Korea, and also the moment that we are all waiting for, it's approaching soon. So as we're at the scene here, what do you think of the outcome of the summit?
Well, the Blue House's Summit Organizing Committee has already announced that they're going to be focusing on two very important issues. One is obviously denuclearization, that North Korea commits to some form of denuclearization. And secondly, that the two countries will declare or make some sort of a declaration that there's an end of armistice and that the two countries will work towards a peace treaty. There may be some side issues, such as humanitarian aid issues, cultural cooperation, some exchanges that could occur for separated families, for instance. But overall, these two issues are going to be central to this summit.
I see. Well, the most important topic in the summit is, as we all know, denuclearization. So can you explain what that means for each side?
Well, denuclearization simply means that. But in terms of the method, I think there's some gap in the understanding. For South Korea and the United States, denuclearization simply means complete, verifiable irreversible denuclearization. So there has to be some form of intrusive inspection that goes on throughout the process, and the U.S. prefers that to be a very short period. On the other hand, North Korea sees denuclearization as a long-term prospect, and it's not clear exactly how many stages and how long it will take for that process to end. And they also condition it on the fact that the United States and South Korea will not pose any kind of a threat to them. So as long as there's a security guarantee, North Korea is willing to commit to denuclearization. So there's some gap and differences there.
I see. Well, what do you think about Pyongyang's latest announcement that it is suspending nuclear and intercontinental ballistic missile tests? Is it an indication of North's willingness to denuclearize? Like, what do you think is the likelihood that will happen?
Potential to transform the geopolitical landscape, especially for a major player. Thank you very much, Kyoko. And in our studio, we have...
Go through the meeting today, and then we see what happens moving forward.
Of course. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Kim, for your insight. Well, for now, we will throw things back to you in Tokyo.
Thank you very much, Kyoko. And in our studio, we have Special Affairs commentator Takashi Ichinose. So Takashi, North Korea's state-run media is also reporting about this historic moment from early in the morning today.
That's right. Actually, I have a report of Korean Central News Agency report. They reported about this inter-Korean summit this morning, and they called this summit historical. And I quote, Kim Jong-un will open-heartedly discuss with Moon Jae-in all the issues arising in improving inter-Korean relations and achieving peace, prosperity, and reunification of the Korean Peninsula. But it didn't mention anything about denuclearization. So the top of the issue they quoted is the inter-Korean relations.
Okay, you're watching some live pictures of Panmunjom. We're seeing Moon Jae-in coming out of the building, the Peace House. He's going to greet Kim Jong-un in a short while. You're watching the Peace House at Panmunjom.
Yes.
And Moon Jae-in has come out of the building to go near the demarcation line to greet and meet Kim Jong-un for the first face-to-face ever. How do you see his expression?
Yes, he seems to be smiling, and he's at the same time seems to be very confident. And that shows his strong expectation to meet Kim Jong-un for the first time.
This meeting has a potential to transform the geopolitical landscape, especially for major players on the Korean Peninsula. First, what's the United States' take on this summit, Takashi?
Yes, of course, for U.S. it's a very important meeting because President Trump is going to have a big summit with Kim Jong-un in a few months. We don't know whether it's going to be coming next month or in early June. So U.S. sees this inter-Korean summit as a pre-summit for the big one.
And how are things going to affect Japan?
Of course, Japan has also a lot of stake. And especially for Japan, Japan's biggest fear is Japan is kind of sidelined from ongoing two big inter-Korean and U.S. North Korea summit. So Japan would like to keep informed of what is happening. And that's why Japan has been very active in diplomacy to have a very close coordination with South Korea and the United States.
You're watching live pictures from Panmunjom. And the building in the front is the northern facility of Panmunjom, and we are expecting Kim Jong-un to come out of that building.
That's right.
To meet President Moon Jae-in for the historic summit. And we are seeing lots of media and officials waiting to capture that moment.
That's right, gearing up for the big moment now.
Exactly. So going back to our story, we've talked about the United States and Japan. I think China is also another key player on the Korean Peninsula.
Yes, of course, China is also have some concerns about the country might be out of the loop. And that's why the China is trying to have a summit meeting with Kim also. Kim, as you remember, made a surprise visit to Beijing and met with Xi Jinping. So Xi Jinping now would like to visit North Korea as soon as this inter-Korean summit is over. So they are closely watching what is happening here in Panmunjom.
Yeah, we are seeing lots of media today. They have reported that about 3,000 have registered for this event, right?
Yeah, it's twice as large as the past two inter-Korean summit. So that shows a strong interest of international community on this inter-Korean summit.
Officials are lining up for the historic face-to-face. These are live pictures coming out of Panmunjom. We are waiting for North Korean leader Kim Jong-un to appear from the building and cross the demarcation line into South Korea. And when that happens, he will make history. We have heard that Kim Jong-un is... There he is, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Kim Jong-un is about to make history. He's going to walk across the demarcation line into South Korea, something no other North Korean leader has ever done before. And his counterpart, President Moon Jae-in, is waiting to greet him when that happens. You can see Kim Jong-un approaching the border step by step, surrounded by his officials. And you will watch a lump of concrete when he crosses the border. That's the line that will split the north and south. You're about to witness a historic moment. Oh, they have both set foot on the North Korean side now. And coming back, we have witnessed Kim Jong-un crossing the border and becoming the first North Korean leader ever to set foot in the South after the armistice. And leaders of the North and South have shaken hands with smiles. It is the first time they meet face to face. How did you find the encounter, Takashi?
Yes, both leaders are smiling, and they shook hands very firmly. And at first, it seemed both leaders seemed to be a little bit tense, but then they got along, and they're smiling at each other, and took handshake actually a few times. And now they're posing with kids for the camera. And they seem to be enjoying the world attention now.
They have crossed into the north together once and then came back.
Yes.
It was a bit of a surprise and
yeah, it's
a
very
show.
symbolic.
Okay, now the leaders are walking the Southern Truce Village, and they're heading over to a square where a welcome ceremony will be held for the North Korean leader. Kim will be saluted by North Korean guards there. Every detail here will be watched closely.
That's right. With the eyes of the world on this summit, both leaders seem to be savoring the moment. Both Kim Jong-un and Moon Jae-in want this summit to be a success. Each leader has a set of objectives coming into this historic meeting. Kim wants to project himself as a strong leader. Moon Jae-in wants to broker a permanent peace. And when Kim crosses the military demarcation line,
Both leaders are heading towards each other's delegation. These are the South Korean delegation. They're speaking to the foreign minister right now.
South Korean delegation has 7 members.
And now to the North Korean delegation.
For North Korea, there are 9 members accompanying. Kim Yong-nam, ceremonial president.
Kim Yong-chol, Lee Soo-yong, and Kim's sister, Lee Yo-jong. Kim Yo-jong. We have just seen Kim receiving an honor guard and some music. How significant is salutation? The two Koreas are technically at war.
That's right. And actually, they performed the famous traditional Korean folk song, Ariran, at the ceremony. But about this military guard, there was a controversy whether it's proper to hold this kind of ceremony. Because as you just mentioned, both Koreans technically are at war. Because Korean War conflict ended with armistice, but still the war continues, technically. That's why there was a controversy about this military honor guard. But South Korean presidential office explains when 2 South Korean presidents visited Pyongyang in the last 2 summit meetings, they were also received with honor guard in the north side. That's why they wanted to reciprocate that treatment.
The two leaders are now taking pictures with each other's delegation. Looks like many photo ops here.
That's right.
Takashi, the fact that they're letting media cover all of this live shows their intention to show up this event to the utmost, doesn't it?
Yes. Actually, the slogan of this summit is peace, a new start. And that's what they are trying to show up in this ceremony.
The two leaders are now walking to the Peace House. That is where they will hold their formal talks. Officials from both sides got together at the Peace House and had preparatory talks for the leaders face-to-face. And for the summit, the place was newly renovated.
That's right. Actually, they've been using that room for the ministerial level meetings, but they completely renovated it for this summit meeting.
We will get to see that pretty soon.
That's right.
So the Peace House is a 3-story building where dozens of negotiations between officials from the two sides have been held in the past. And they're now entering the Peace House together.
And the meeting will take place on the 2nd floor. And on the 3rd floor, they're expected to have a dinner.
Okay, in the front, we can see a picture of Mount Kumgan. This was also brought in for this summit, right?
That's right. And Kim Jong-un is going to sign to visit this facility.
Kim Jong-un is signing his name at the Peace House.
So the meeting will start in about an hour. So until that time, they are supposed to have a private meeting together. The purpose of that would be to have compatible atmosphere between the two leaders. And then on to the official business starts in about an hour.
So looks like this whole process has been well prepared to the finest detail.
That's right. They've been repeated rehearsals many times for this special occasion.
And another photo op. North Korea's ruling Workers' Party daily Nodon Shimun has been reporting on this summit. And the latest says that the Inter-Korean Summit is a historic event realized by leader Kim Jong-un's strong love for Korean people, firm determination for the unification of Korea's bold decision, and big heart. So they're breaking the news as the event unfolds.
That's right.
Which is pretty rare.
That's true. And most of the North Korean media outlets are reporting this Inter-Korean Summit historic. And at the same time, they stressed the importance of reunification of Koreas. But at the same time, they didn't mention anything about denuclearization issues. So they retreated to a private room to have private talks before the official summit meeting.